Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Coltrane Conservatory of the Arts talk show. As you know, it's been a little while since we have been with you, and we're back. This is our first show of the season, of this particular season. We'll be on for 12 consecutive series, and my name is Joe Pace III. I am your host. I am also the director of the Coltrane Conservatory of the Arts Music School. And on this show, we talk about a number of things. We talk about our school and the things that we offer there, our programming. And we also talk about the issues that confront our society. And on tonight, we will be talking about certain things such as the nuclear threat that's going on in the world today, as many of you know, in some ways being led by our own president. We'll also be talking about some of the things having to do with collusion and whether or not this we had members of this country to collude with foreign people in order to interfere with the American presidential election. So we'll be talking about that. Stick around. We'd like to get your opinions. You can call this television station, and the telephone number is on your screen. You can't miss it there. In addition to that, if you have opinions about something that we are discussing, you may feel free to air those opinions. First of all, I want to talk about our school. We are a music school. We're located at 6353 South Cottage Grove here in Chicago. And we teach in all the instruments except the violin and the viola. The string instruments we do not teach in. All of the band instruments we teach in. Trumpet, saxophone, baritone horn, guitar, piano, drums, all of those instruments. So if you've ever thought about wanting to learn how to play an instrument, then now is the time to do it. And if you give us a call, we can explain more of that to you, exactly how you can get involved. We take students, usually from about 8 years old on up, but in many cases we will take students who are younger than that. The criteria is if students are able to follow instructions, and if they are well mannered, we will take them into our school. We have had students, believe it or not, as young as 2.5 years old. Most of our students, though, when they come in, they are at least 5 years old, and we find that at that age, their cognitive ability is such that they're able to follow instructions. And so if you have a child, a grandchild, a great-grandchild who you'd like to get involved in music, then you give us a call. You can call us here at the station. Mr. Lionel Don is our production assistant, and he is waiting for your call at this time. And by the way, all of you out there, a Happy New Year to you. We hope that last year was a good year, but we hope that this year is far better. So set your goals high, and I'm pretty sure that if you miss them, you will fall still on high ground and get a lot done. So once again, Happy New Year to everybody. We hope that everybody had a great holiday, and I hope that you had a nice Christmas and you got all the gifts that you wanted to get. Now, we're going to go over a few things with you. I want to share with you a few things having to do with our school before we get into, and by the way, before we get into talking about some of the social issues that confront our society on today. But by the way, I want to certainly want to tell you, advise you, warn you, I should say, admonish you, I should say, to please, whatever you do, we'd like for you to dress warmly, because the weather out there is extremely cold, and someone could actually get frostbitten. So put your mittens on and your hat and your coat and stuff of that type. And some of you may even need to wear what we call long drawers. You know, when we were growing up as kids, my mother would put those on my brother and I, and my brother and me. And now, since we have gotten grown, we don't wear those anymore. But sometimes I think we need to continue to wear those kind of things in order to make sure that we stay warm, especially in this type of weather. Now, as you look on your screen there, you'll see that we have a music school. We also have a recording studio, and we have a band for hire. Now, we just talked about the music school a moment ago. And you know that we do, if you have, little ones that you'd like to get. And of course, this is for adults also. I mean, we have, in fact, right now, we actually have, we have more adults in the school than we do young people, young children at this particular time. So the school is for everybody, and it's certainly for you if you're planning on learn how to play an instrument. Many people have had goals to learn how to play an instrument. Many people have pianos just sitting in their living room and dining room and other rooms in the house. And now is the time in order to learn how to play it. So give us a call. We'll explain the program to you. You'll find that it is an excellent program. All of our students are able to play. We have 2 recitals a year. We have one in July and another one in December. This gives you an opportunity to play before a live audience. And this is part of the training because you're not going to be playing by yourself all the time. And this gives you an opportunity to build confidence. It's part of the training. It also helps our students to be diligent with their practicing because they know they're going to be performing in the public, and this motivates them to practice. And so we have a very good school. We've been in operation now for 5 years now, 5 years in February next month. And we've had a lot of success in terms of getting individuals where they wanted to be in terms of their playing. And so you can be one of those students. You give us a call. You can call this number here, which is 773, you see it right there, 891-1875. Or you may call the station here at this particular time. Now, I want you to also be familiar with a free program that we have, totally free. This program right here that I'm going to let you see right now is a totally free program, and that's where you learn how to play the hand drums. We have the program every Saturday, and it's from 10:30 to 11:30, 1 hour. And we have the drums there. Some of our students have their own drums, but we also have drums, and you can come and get involved with it if you want to learn how to play the hand drums. You see the young boys there playing the hand drums. If you want to learn how to do that, you can do that. You do have to register, and there is a small fee for registering, a very small fee. Probably what you'd use to go to McDonald's if you had to go out to a fast food restaurant. You'd probably spend about the same thing. So it's a very small registration fee. After that, it's totally free. This program goes on the entire year, and it is conducted every Saturday from 10:30 until 11:30. Now, I want to talk to you about a few things having said that, and you see the phone number there if you want some information right now. Jot that phone number down and call us, okay? Alrighty, we are here. This is a live program. This isn't taped, so you can call right now, and Lionel will be more than happy to take your calls. Okay, now I want to talk to you about a few things having to do with what's going on in our society right now, especially coming out of the White House. We know that we have a president who is very different, very different. He comes from a different background as a gambling casino owner and a real estate man. And so this is a different individual. This is not a professional politician. And he's been doing some things that have a lot of us very, very disturbed about. And that is to say that we are trying to make certain that in this world, none of us will experience a nuclear attack. And right now, if you have been watching and listening to the news, you know that Kim Jong-un, the North Korean president, has been saying some things, and our president, Donald J. Trump, has been saying some things also. It's almost as though we are watching two bully kids in the schoolyard when we were growing up, and both of them is bluffing at each other, and finally somebody takes a swing at someone. And that is what has so many people disturbed today, that one of these individuals could decide to press this button. Kim Jong-un said 3 or 4 days ago in a speech that I have a nuclear bomb button on my desk at all times. And when Donald Trump found out about that, he decided he would tweet and let him know that he has one even bigger and badder, you know. And so to hear men in powerful positions, both in control of nuclear armory, talk like this is very, very concerning, people. And I just hope that all of you will begin some sort of process to address this, and indeed to redress it, because this really needs to be stopped. I mean, it is ridiculous that you would have a president of the United States squaring off with a guy in a very small country in this manner. I think that it's more dignified and certainly more diplomatic if an individual would say, this is not acceptable, in terms of a response from a man who's talking like people say that does sometimes. But it's not just Let's be realistic, folks. It's not just he is very erratic and seems to be rather infantile and indeed juvenile himself. But at least he's only 32 or 3 years old, and he can at least reference that, the fact that he is, and he's coming from a point of a very small country that has to sort of bluff. You know, it's like a little poodle bluffing at a Rottweiler, you know, and as long as that little poodle is in the yard and the owner is standing next to him, he's going to yappity 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 yappy at that Rottweiler as long as he wants to. The Rottweiler, if you know anything about these animals, and I'm pretty sure you do, will simply kind of look over at this little poodle and look off, barely paying it any attention. These are dogs, because that Rottweiler knows that that poodle presents no threat whatsoever to him. And this is the same identical thing with Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un has no power that could overwhelm this huge arsenal of conventional and nuclear weapons that this country has stockpiled for over 50 years. So why would our president want to stand up, or tweet, I should say, why would he want to tweet a threat of some sort to a small country such as North Korea? And not only that, but it shows no respect for the South Koreans. Folks, let's be realistic. There's no way that you can strike North Korea with a nuclear bomb that some people say is exponentially more powerful than the ones that were dropped on Japan without destroying South Korea also. Someone said those South Koreans are trembling in their boots because of the tweets that our president has been making. I mean, the Japanese are sending out alarms and whatnot because there are missiles that are going over their country, and they're reminiscing about what went on at Nagasaki, I believe that was, and Hiroshima, when these two bombs were dropped on those two different cities in Japan. I mean, they have heard about it, and many of those people are still living. But the idea that we would have a president saber rattling with another president, another leader of another nation, in this manner, and nobody agrees with it. I mean, nobody. The Republicans, the senators and congressmen, the Republican ones, they don't say anything because they seem to be intimidated by this man. And I'm wondering, what are you intimidated by? Some people have even said that Mr. Trump has at least borderline mental problems. And that may be true. Some people say that he's doing what he's doing, calling this fellow Little Rocket Man and fat and short and this kind of stuff to carry on foolishness. But this can't be a game that somebody is playing for fun. The stakes are too high. Somebody, and not just somebody, but millions of people could die. Whole cities could be destroyed. And when you are threatening and saying to somebody, I got one bigger than you, sometimes people will say, okay, I'll show you how big mine is. So I don't know about this, folks. I'm very disturbed about this. And that's why we're devoting so much time to this tonight. I'm very disturbed by it. I thought about this all the week before we started this program back. And I said to myself, I have to say something about this. People have to understand this is a lot more serious than what most people think. We look at Donald Trump as though he's some sort of a clown, buffoon, just always carrying on a lot of foolishness. But this foolishness can lead to the destruction of a whole nation. And let me tell you something, that from what the intelligence says, that man has a missile that can carry a warhead, a nuclear warhead, for thousands of miles, okay? From what the intelligence is saying. I'm not talking about what Donald Trump is saying. I mean what U.S. intelligence, the CIA, the FBI, the Secret Service. I mean these organizations that we have in this country that no matter what the president says, we know that these are solid intelligence gathering agencies. And these people know what they're doing. So to call them a bunch of names and whatnot, anybody who's buying into that, they themselves probably need to go out and see a psychologist. I don't mean to harm by that, folks, but because I know a lot of you all out there are Trump supporters. But I can tell you one thing, that, and listen, you're not talking to a Democrat. You're not talking to a Republican. You're talking to an independent. I do not vote for parties, and I don't think I will ever vote for parties. I vote for individuals. And if those individuals are in line with the way I feel philosophically, then I cast my vote for them. But someone who's just trotting along saying, I'm a Republican and I'm a Democrat, so vote for me, will never get my vote. Okay, well anyway, That said, I want you to call us if you're interested, and listen, think on those things I've said, okay, tonight. And we're going to be back on next week on Wednesday, and we'll talk some more. I wanted to get into some other things, but we just don't have enough time. This program is way too short for me. I'm barely getting started, and it's over. But anyway, what we want to do is invite you to call us and give us some, if you want some feedback on our music school, we're certainly going to be very happy to give that to you. And you can call us at 773-891-1875, or you may get the phone number off of the television set there, and you may give us a call. In between time, we will see you on next week, and again, Happy New Year, and do try and stay warm. See you next time.